Ooh, you know what? I don't even know where to begin, Keith.
Oh my gosh, this is such a good episode.
I just, I'm speechless. I can't even introduce us tonight. My mind is racing right now. There's so much going on. What an episode.
Oh my gosh, I have the Sydney shocked face all over my own face.
It's crazy. It's crazy. Welcome to Big Brother Basics, where we break down the greatest episode of Big Brother Canada 3. My name's Jacob Harple, and with me is the most fabulous, the most fantastic. He's my best friend and closest ally, but I'll put him on the block. Keith Guerrero, how are you doing tonight, Keith?
I'm doing great, Jacob. Thank you so much. Hold on as I pull out one last Big Brother reference before I walk out the door.
You know what? Before we really get into this, I just got to say, I think this is the episode that this season really needed. I think tonight just breathed so much life into the game, and it was so great. I was shaking the whole time. I was on the edge of my seats. I was cursing at each commercial as it popped up, just waiting for it to get back on. And I just can't remember the last time I felt like that while watching Big Brother.
My smile is like from ear to ear. I am so excited. As soon as Brittany came into the confessional and said, I vote out Jordan, my mouth dropped. I was like, oh my gosh, it's really happening. Finally, not a unanimous eviction, and it's going to be super close. And like, we're still on the edge because we still don't know what Bobby's going to do, you know? Like, Bobby's so wishy-washy. Like, is he going to commit to it? Oh my gosh, it was so freaking exciting. So exciting.
I know, and it's just like, it's not even the fact that it wasn't a unanimous vote. It was just the fact that all of these players they were taking their fate into their own hands. They were basically saying, you know what? Screw the house, screw the easy option. I'm going to do what's best for my game, even if the person I'm sending home is someone that I care for deeply. And you know what? All I have to say is, welcome to Big Brother. Like, this this is great. Like, I'm proud of so many players in this episode. I think we just saw great gameplay and just ruthless strategy. And you know what? That's what this game needs, and that's what people want to see. We don't need double vetoes. We don't need a $10,000 temptation. We need great, interesting characters that are going to play the game for themselves, that are there to make big moves, and aren't afraid to stick their neck out. And tonight was a step in that direction.
I'm so excited. There's so many players to commend on this episode. Oh, let's get started.
Oh, yeah, let's get started. Well, before we start commending, I want to go into some people that we probably shouldn't be commending, because I love that scene in the backyard at the beginning of the episode with Zach and Jordan. They're working out and they're talking about how great it is to have a social game and how they'd be idiots to keep Jordan. And they're just laughing and laughing. And in my head, I'm thinking, you know what? If this happens, this is going to be one of the greatest episodes in Big Brother history.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, like, they were sitting pretty. And, like, the fact that they think that thought has never crossed any of the other house guests' minds of, you know, maybe Jordan can go home this week, just shows their comfort level inside the house. So comfortable. Oh my gosh, it's just so good to like see them get the wake-up call that they needed. And by they, I mean Zach.
Yeah, because one of them's game's
one
over.
of them's gone. Bye. So like, holy crap. Oh, so good. I can't even.
I think that they really, obviously they really screwed up this week, but I feel like where they went wrong is, I think when strategizing or making moves, you should always put yourself in the rest of the house's shoes and think, if I were to do this, what would I most likely do? What would be the best option for me? And to counter against that. And, you know, obviously that's not the biggest mistake they made. They've made horrible, horrible mistakes. They were cocky. They were comfortable. I think Jordan's going to be the banner, the poster boy for getting too comfortable and too cocky in this game. And I bet you this, I don't think we're going to see anyone volunteering to be a pawn anytime soon the rest of the season.
I completely agree. And who would have known the downfall of Newport only takes 1 week? And guess what? One of them's HOH. It's so fantastic. You just never know what's going to happen inside the house. Crazy things happen from week to week. where you nominate somebody who you have basically a final two deal with. Sure, you have that showmance with Ashley, but you two have a two-person alliance made on day one. He trusts you enough to be nominated as a pawn. And then you win veto. You think you're so good socially that you can just leave him on the block and everything will be scotch-free. Like, you just never considered that Jordan could possibly go home, huh, Zach? Is that what never crossed your mind? I mean, you think that you are the king of this house, and you just got dethroned, and now you can't compete in HOH. Congratulations. I hope you can... I don't even wish bad things for Zach, to be honest. Like, I think that he's going to start realizing, you know what, I don't run things like I think I do, and I need to be a little bit more humble and approach this game differently. And I don't know, like I'm just, it all depends on what happens this next week, and it's so exciting to see that Zach has no control anymore.
Yeah, and I mean, like you said, nothing to knock Zach. You and I, we've been saying great things about Zach this entire season, I feel like. And I still think that Zach is a great player, even though he made a horrible, horrible move this week, and this could possibly go down as one of the worst HOH reigns in Big Brother history. Regardless, I think he does have a lot of skill in this game and a very good mind to himself. So, but he's got his work cut out for him. You know, if his game just depends on whether or not he gets picked for that veto, that's not very good, you know. But if there's anyone that could get out of the situation, I do think it's Zach. And I don't mean to be crawling up Zach's ass. I'm just saying I'm very eager to see what his next move is, what he will try to do, how he handles his situation, because you don't get much lower than this. You know, he's his strongest allies out of the game. He's outgoing HOH. I want to see what's next for Zach, and I think that's what's really going to determine how great of a player he is. You know, it's not how you treat your power or how you play when you're safe. It's how you handle yourself and how you play when your back's against the wall, when you're at the bottom of the totem pole. That's what determines whether or not you're one of the greats. And I think that's what we're about to see from Zach. And I'm really excited to see whether he crashes and burns or gets back in the ranks.
Can we actually transition? I think this is a nice transition to this topic. We hear Bruno inside one of the confessionals talking about the showmances that are in this game. We have Kevin and Pilar. We have Zach and Ashley. Then we also have Sarah and Willow and a little Bobby and Brittany action. How do you feel about all of these little flings going on, and how do you think it affects each one of their games?
I think it's just I think the four of them are people that crave attention, and I don't mean that in a negative way. I just think they're all very touchy-feely people. You're in that house, they're in, I think, like day 37 or something like that. You know, some people are going to start looking a little bit more attractive. You know what I mean? So I wouldn't read too much into it. I think at the end of the day, Willow and Sarah on two different sides. And as far as Bobby and Brittany go, I don't know. I think there's so much more going on. I wouldn't look into those two couples that much.
Okay, so let's focus on the, I guess.
I want to talk about Godfrey for a second, because
sure.
I was just thinking, like, how ironic that, you know, Jordan and Zach's big insult to Godfrey was like, he's just been sleeping this entire game. I find it very ironic, because I think this just showed that the ones that have been sleeping were actually Jordan and Zach, because they completely just they were totally oblivious to what was going on. Like, we saw throughout the episode people talking to other people in different rooms and bedrooms, figuring out what the vote's going to be. And it's just like, where is Zach and JP? What are they doing? Like, I think they were the ones sleeping on the vote, and that's ultimately why JP walked out the door. So I find that very ironic, and I don't know. I'm loving Godfrey at this moment.
Yeah.
So let's talk about Godfrey first, because there's so many different scenes with different people. So I think what I want to do is I just want to go through each one of these players and just talk about what their role for the vote is, how they handle themselves this game. And I think what better way to start than with the man of the hour, the sleeping giant, awoken warrior, Godfrey himself. We kind of see him start the train at the very beginning with his conversation with Cindy. How did you feel about the way he kind of approached the subject of the vote?
I thought it was very interesting, because this is the very same person that he basically targeted in that, like, week 2, like, fake camera debacle. And now he's like needing her. And what's great about Cindy is that she's listening, you know, like she's not going to let some little personal baggage affect the way she wants to play this game that's going to benefit her strategically. And Cindy's aware that she's a target. She has a target on her back. She's a returning player. People might want to eliminate her just for that. And Godfrey was like, you know what? I'm in your same boat. We're both outsiders. I will be going after Zach. Keep me in this game. I can benefit you way more than JP can. And that's tough going to somebody who's basically in a showmance with the person that's sitting next to you on the block. And so it was just like a ballsy move for Godfrey to just talk to Cindy instead of thinking that Cindy wouldn't vote for him to stay. Like he treated this game as if like that hope is there. Like he didn't think that he was doomed, and he played it to the very end, and now he's still playing the game because he never gave up. So kudos to Godfrey in approaching Cindy in that conversation, which that was the catalyst that Godfrey needed. I mean, I said last episode that Godfrey needs a catalyst outside of Bruno, outside of the people that he's aligned with. He needs somebody in the middle. We said Sarah, but Cindy ended up being that person. And Cindy went right over to the SBB submarine or SSB submarine.
I don't know. They're like a female trio.
They actually had a name, SSB.
Yeah.
But and then she's just started the ball rolling, and it was just so good to see.
Oh, yeah. I think Cindy, if anything, was the bridge to this entire organization, and I think that's what they really needed. But yeah, I was really thrilled to see Godfrey. I think he had excellent points. The way he formulated the argument in the campaign to Cindy, I think was just the perfect thing to say to get her on board and her started on creating this entire plan. And, you know, I think the jury was out when we were talking about Godfrey at first about if he was a good player or not. And I think it's safe to say that he knows what he's talking about, and he has been totally underestimated in this game. And people need to look at him now. I think he's going to have, I don't know. I think he's got a huge target on his back now, though, but who freaking cares? Like, he was dead man walking, and he has new life in this game. I think once you are that close to going home, I think the game kind of changes you. And for Godfrey, I think it's going to be a change for the better. So I'm really excited to see how he, what the future holds for Godfrey.
Yeah. I'm excited to see what Godfrey does too, but I'm like holding him at a distance. I'm not sure if I want to be attached as a fan yet, because I'm scared that he'll do something that'll make me be like, I don't want to invest in all my feelings into you just for you to just be a hot mess and mess it up. But I think Godfrey's great right now, and I'm really excited to see what he does next week.
Yeah, I could have done with a little less pelvic thrust after he found out he was saying, but you know what? You do what you want, Godfrey. I think you deserve a few celebration dances. Let's talk about Cindy next, because I feel like Cindy is responsible for the most part for this plan. I think Cindy's role tonight was the bridge. You know, we had two different, I guess, alliances. We had Sarah and Brittany, and then we had Bruno and Bobby. And Cindy was just like this missing recipe that was needed, because she was tight with Sarah. She knew she could trust her, but she also had a good relationship with Bruno before she got evicted for the first time. So it was like, this was the missing piece of the puzzle. And without her, Godfrey, I think, definitely would have been gone. And you know what? Props to Cindy for just being like, you know, I really like JP, but he's not good for my game. And in order for me to accomplish what I want to accomplish, this has to be done. Do you think this was the right move for Cindy?
100%. There's way too many attention going on showmances this season. She needed to get rid of the one that was going to destroy her game. So getting rid of Jordan is so key for Cindy, so that the targets remain on the other two showmances, and she can kind of float by with the big target of her being a returning player, you know? So Cindy made the right call, and I'm just so glad, because I didn't give Cindy credit. Like, you know, when we were thinking about if people were to return, my concern for Cindy was that she was just going to link up with Jordan and just go with that couples route, and she did the exact opposite. I am so proud of Cindy. Finally, a showmance where the woman took control and got rid of the man, right? Like, I'm so excited that finally happened. You don't see that often, and Cindy did it. I'm so proud of her, and I can't wait. She's going to be such a great player.
Oh, yeah. I think it was a great move for Cindy, because she is able to get some numbers. There's the little hiccup with Bobby in the HOH competition. We'll talk about that later, but I think it was a move to try and get some numbers on her side, not just have Sarah and Brittany, but also to unite with Bobby and Bruno. I think if she didn't do anything and just let Godfrey go, I think the house would have just shifted its focus completely on her, and she would have been the next one to leave. So I think with this, she definitely throws a wrench in a lot of people's plans. She's taking out a key figure in a lot of alliances, and it's tearing this house apart. It's flipping the house upside down, and I think that's exactly what a player like Cindy needs. When you're a returning player, you want that chaos. You want the target on as many different people as possible. And now everyone's going to be pointing fingers, wondering who voted who, what's going on, who's the target. I'm so excited.
You know what? You're totally right. Like, if the house was a unanimous vote this round, then Cindy could very well be the next person eliminated from the game. But the fact that she was able to make the house a split vote, she needed that. She needed those divisions so that she could perhaps slide a couple more weeks and buy some time.
What did you think about Bruno this episode? Because I love Bruno.
I love Bruno too, and Bruno is definitely the brains behind the operations. He knew that he needed to bring in one more person, and that person was Bobby. And it was like pulling teeth with Bruno trying to convince Bobby what to do, because Bobby just doesn't have a brain. Like he's one of those people on Big Brother 16 that wants to give Derek the win. Like he's
right, yeah.
That's what Bobby brings to the table.
Beast mode Bobby.
Beast mode Bobby. But Bruno was so keen. He was like, he wasn't willing to like give up a whole lot of information. He was like, you know what, I'm ready to vote out Godfrey, but what are you thinking, Cindy? And like Cindy was just out in the open with it. She doesn't have anything to lose. She was already evicted in the house, and Bruno was like, yeah, that's actually what I want. And we okay, so say like you can get your girls, and I'll see if I can get my guy, and we'll work this out. But that was great. Awesome to see that communication between Cindy and Bruno knowing that he had to work Bobby and basically not leaving his side until Brittany came along the room.
Oh, yeah. I mean, I think Bruno is a very cautious player. Because in this house, you really have to be careful with what you say and who you say it to. And if one little thing gets turned to leaked to the wrong person, it could mean the end of your gameplay. Yep. And I think that's what Bruno kind of sensed when the girls first approached him with, so what do you want to see happen this week? Because he's just kind of like, all right, what's going on here? Like, these girls can't possibly want to keep Godfrey. So it's just really exciting to see just that caution from Bruno. And yeah, I think he did a great job. Obviously, it took a woman's touch to get Bobby to see the light, but I love when he's having that conversation with Bobby outside, and he's just like, I need to use like candy in order for him to see it. Like, the only way he's going to see this is if I make a visual representation, which is true. It's like Bobby just doesn't get it. He is beast mode Bobby, because he's the guy that's like going, yo, chop shop, bro, and there's no one left in the chop shop, just like Caleb and the Bob Squad. It's a perfect similarity. They're totally similar.
Yeah.
And so, oh my God, Bobby, I was like, if Bobby ruins this, I am going to be so upset. Mm-hmm. But luckily, we have a player in this game named Brittany, who I love, because like the entire storyline for Bobby tonight was, is he going to do it? Is Bruno going to be able to convince him? And he's just doing it scene after scene, trying to get him on board. And then finally Brittany just walks in and is just like, all right, what's going on? What's the vote looking like? I don't have time to mess around. And Bobby's like, oh, I don't know. And she's like, all right, cool. Well, he was going to backdoor you this week, so there's that. And Bobby's just like, okay, I guess I'm voting out Jordan. And I just love it. Like, I loved how Brittany was just upfront, to the point. It was just like, are we going to do this? Are we going to play this game? And I loved it. I loved what I saw from Brittany tonight.
I'm a Brittany fan, even when she was a pawn, because I saw this in her. She's willing to cut people's throats in this game. She is super smart, and people underestimate the fuck out of her, and it's their fault that she's still in the game. Sarah gets a lot of credit. Sarah didn't really do anything this episode. Cindy was the bridge, and then Brittany was the executor, basically, of the plan. She saw Bruno and Bobby capitalize that conversation, said, okay, we're going to talk about the vote now. Okay, so I know that Bruno is trying to convince you, Bobby. So, because really, Brittany has two cards she could potentially play. if Bruno was on the fence, she could say that Bruno was going to be the one backdoored. If Bobby was on the fence, she could say that Bobby was going to be backdoored. But since Bruno was already on board, she only needed to play the one that dealt with Bobby. So it doesn't matter what the truth was. She could just say, I heard from Zach that you were going to get backdoored. Let's get rid of this closest ally, Jordan. And oh my gosh, so beautiful to see Brittany play this game perfectly. She doesn't play the game unless she needs to. She went in, had this short 5-minute conversation. I'm sure she went right back to like cuddling up with whoever she was cuddling with, because that's the only type of game she needed to play. So she's particular with her moments that she makes her approaches, and it just showed with this episode. So good for Brittany. So proud of her. Love this game. Love Brittany.
Oh yeah, I am just so refreshed by basically the 5 people that voted to keep Godfrey. Like, it was just this light bulb went in each and every one of them heads, and that just said, this isn't good for my game. Something's got to change. And I love that. I love when people are actually smart enough to like figure out how this game is shaking down and who is with what and doing something about it. Mm-hmm. It's just, oh man, so refreshed.
Yeah, because like the 5 people that voted them out like would never have aligned in other circumstances unless other people have like a tighter group. So it was just so funny to see like this oddball alliance like form up.
That's what I've been saying. Like, I was just like, I need this freaking random alliance to form with freaks and geeks.
Yep.
You've got the popular girl Cindy, like talking to like the stoner and the jock. They should call their alliance the Breakfast Club. Like, that is the Breakfast Club. I'm telling you, that should be their alliance.
So perfect.
So let's talk about the task that Bobby and Cindy had to do. They basically were locked in the room for 24 hours, and then after the 24 hours passed, they were given an option of taking $10,000, which would be removed from the $100,000 grand prize that the winner gets. But they would also be immediately removed from the game. What did you think about this twist? Did you think it was interesting? Did you think Cindy or Bobby should have pressed the button? What were your thoughts?
I was getting some Lori Valenti vibage going on, and I just wanted someone to take the 10,000. I wanted to be like, I'm going to take the 10,000, Arissa. It would just be so funny. But it's a death sentence. Like, if you take the $10,000, you're messing with other people's money. You're going to go home. Wait, but if they take the 10,000, they have to leave the game.
Exactly.
Okay, whoops. Okay, but see, like
they would technically go home. I mean,
that was Bobby's chance to get some money. Like Cindy hit the nail on the head there. That was
really
Bobby's like only chance to get the money.
Bobby's not winning this game.
Yeah, but oh my gosh, it's so funny. What do you think?
I thought it was silly. I don't know. They stole it from the UK show. They had a twist that was very similar like this. I don't know. I agree that I'm glad it didn't happen, because if either one of them had taken the money, then this whole plan to evict Jordan would not have worked. They would have been 1 vote short. It would have been a tie. And so I'm really glad. Whether or not Bobby should have or shouldn't have, my thing is like, this is a once-in-a-lifetime opportunity. People would die to get in that house and just to play the game. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And like $10,000, that's money that could change your life. But I don't know if I could ever forgive myself for being that guy.
Yeah.
Like the guy that walked out of the house for $10,000. Like, there are other ways to get that kind of money. Get a good job. Like, try and win the lottery, but like, this is the Big Brother house. You're playing the game. Play the game.
Yeah.
And so it's not that I didn't like the twist. It's more so that I'm just glad that neither one of them fell for the temptation.
I agree.
And I was like, best move you did all night, Bobby. Well, actually, probably not.
I just thought of this, like with the 5 random people that aligned and voted the way they voted tonight. Something I just realized out of their dynamics, like we have Bruno who nominated Sarah, we have Bobby who evicted Cindy, and like Bobby who nominated Brittany. Like, this is like the last group of people you think would like vote together.
I love it. I absolutely love it. It's completely random. total left field. Maybe that's why they were so confident, because they were like, "There's no way these 5 people are going to unite." Well,
Right.
they
Like,
did.
just thinking of that shocks my mind that they pulled it together. Like, that's how good of a Big Brother house this is. Like, all of them do not let the personal week 1, week 2, you nominated me. I'm not going to hold a grudge. Like, they realized the situation and they attacked perfectly. It was so good.
Very,
Wow.
so incredible. I loved it. Let's talk about the vote, because I don't know about you, Keith, but I was shaking. I was
Yeah.
shaking. Because we weren't sure if it was going to happen, and it wouldn't be the first time that a show had like this has gave us some sort of red herring with the edit and ripped it right from us. And I was still gullible to the very end, but it was incredible. It was incredible just seeing it all unravel. The vote reveal, Jordan's face, Zach's face, Godfrey worshiping everything. Like,
Yeah.
it is just I loved it. What did you think about JP's reaction?
JP's reaction, like he was saying, he was just shocked that it was 5-4, and then that he was the one that got eliminated. I think it was shock at first, and then he was like, "Well, I made a dumb move, and just gonna have to live with it now." So yeah, I didn't really have much to say about his reaction.
How many years do you think Jordan will go without sleeping?
No, I think he'll be able to sleep well, because he realized that he put too much trust into Zach, and he realized this like even before the veto ceremony. Like, wow, Zach completely like messed me up. Like, and I had loyalty to this guy. So yeah, I think he's over it now. I don't think he's going to be better. He was really, really classy on his way out.
I agree. It was great to see. I think he's a great sport. I think he's someone who truly loves this game, who wanted to soak up as much as he can from this experience, and it's really great to see him. I think he's going to be a perfect juror. He's gonna be great finale night. I think he'll ask a great question. He'll vote for the better player, and it was just great to see him. It was pretty funny though when he tried to make the interview about, "Oh yeah, I'm the first juror," and I was just like, "No, don't change the subject, JP. We got stuff to talk about."
Mm-hmm.
Who do you blame more for this result? Do you blame Jordan more, or do you blame Zach more? Or do you blame them equally?
They both have responsibility involved with the situation. But it's so tough because Jordan was such a mess. And it's easy to put a lot of blame on Zach because he was the head of household, but Jordan was a mess. Jordan was an entire mess. He was like running up to Zach immediately after winning HOH, revealing that they're working closely together, and then even volunteering to be nominated. That didn't come from Zach, that came from Jordan. So like, there's a lot of reasons why Jordan. You know what? I'm gonna say Jordan. Jordan, because of all those reasons, and then also throwing veto competition. You don't do that if you're on the block. So stupid. So it's completely Jordan's fault that he's out the door.
I agree. I mean, regardless of Zach, backing out of the plan or not using the veto, the reason Jordan was there in the first place was because of his plan. I think you got to blame Zach, but I think you send most of the bill to Jordan.
Yeah.
Let me ask you this. Next question. Do you think this might go down as one of the biggest moves? One of the dumbest moves in Big Brother history?
Yeah. You accomplished absolutely nothing. Congratulations, Zach. You won HOH. Congratulations, Zach. You had record-shattering times in the POV, and you accomplished absolutely nothing. You actually didn't accomplish. You harmed your game in process.
Oh,
you had one target, and you had one ally on the block. Thanks to you, you're HOH, and you had POV. You could have changed your mind. But no, you left them both on the block. There's a split vote, 5-4. And Godfrey is sleeping another day. Guess what, Zach?
He is. He's going to sleep like a baby.
And you can't even compete next week. What were you thinking? Winning the power veto and then not saving your closest ally. Like, you think that you are that good. You're really not, boo-boo. And I'm so glad that these house guests showed you that you're not that good.
Well, we'll see. We'll see how good he is this week. So it was revealed that Jordan's the first juror, which I thought was really interesting because we were at top 12. How do you feel about that?
Yeah, I don't know what Canada has in store with this many people on jury.
Yeah.
Like I really hope that it's not a final three, because that was my first reaction, that it would be a final three, and they could just pick out of the three. I think that would suck, but yeah, I don't know. I don't think that it should have happened. I think there should be odd people on jury, so I don't know.
I agree. Well, my guess is that there will be 10 jurors and then Canada will vote.
Yeah.
I seriously doubt it'll be a final three. I think that would be the most anticlimactic thing ever. I'm not even a fan of it when they do it on Survivor. So I don't know. We'll see. Maybe it had something to do with the task. Like maybe they were expecting, what if these two people take the money and leave? But still, I think that's something that you could just adapt to. I just don't like it because getting the jury is just a huge milestone in the game.
Right.
And I think it's kind of lame that only 4 people are missing out of jury.
That's true. Yeah. Like, it's like, well, everybody could be in jury.
Right? Right. So, I don't know. I'm not a big fan of it. I guess we'll just see what happens.
Yeah.
So let's talk about next week, because you and I, we don't know who wins HOH. What do you think's gonna happen? Who do you think's who's in the most danger?
It all depends on who wins HOH.
Right.
So clearly the couples were ostracized this week. Okay, couples plus Willow. Throwing that out there, girl.
Yeah.
Willow, you clueless. So they're the minority now. They're the new minority, and it's awesome because they were in such a good position and now they're not. So they're in the most immediate trouble, them plus Zach. However, I kind of want them to win HOH. I'm hoping for a Kevin, Peely, or Ashley HOH, just because I think that it'll just be nice to get rid of one more of this random numbers, like getting rid of one of those 5 votes. And then like really going to war after that, alternating HOH reigns and just going back and forth. That would be so cool.
Oh, yeah.
So that's kind of where I'm at. But what's interesting to me is Willow. Like, her game doesn't make sense to me because she was left out of the Chop Shop decision. She's having a showmance with Sarah. They all voted for homeboy to leave, Jordan, and she's stuck with getting rid of Godfrey. So I have no idea what she's doing.
I think a lot of people are having a hard time trusting Willow. I think people see Willow as kind of like Andy, like she's running to everyone in the house. She's kind of a floater. People aren't really sure who she's loyal to. So I think that's why Willow is pretty much left out of the loop.
But at the same time, I think that she could survive a lot of votes, Like she's
yeah.
It's crazy. So what are your thoughts?
I agree. I mean, I think Willow's going to be in the game for a long run, but I just don't think anyone trusts her because people see her as someone that's with everybody. So I know there's a few times where people have told her stuff that she's kind of leaked and it's gone back to the original source. And that kind of made people just be like, all right, well, I can't tell Willow anything.
Right.
I don't know. I mean, I don't think she's playing a good game, if that's what the question is. I think she'll be in this game for a while still.
Okay.
What did you think about Bobby eliminating Cindy? Like, what do you think the motivation behind that is?
See, like, Bobby is so... basically, he's a sneak. So, like, he'll do something behind your back, but he won't do it to your face. He voted out... he drew the line behind the couple's backs, but to their face, he's going to be like, oh, Cindy's the house target. Let me eliminate Cindy first in this HOH competition. Just in case, like, I lose and one of y'all win. Because y'all can remember that I eliminated Cindy, right? You'll forget that I just voted out like your closest ally, Jordan, right? So he's just a stupid player, and that's why he eliminated Cindy. Like, it was so dumb. He didn't really need to do that, and people know that he voted. I mean, he was the last one called to the diary room. Do you think that they're going to call somebody when there's already a majority vote? Like, it's obviously 4-4 at that point. So Bobby was the swing vote. It was so obvious, and he's just trying to cover his tracks to people that don't matter because they're the house target now.
Yeah, it's really frustrating, and I'm interested to see on Sunday if they give like a DR of like why he decided to eliminate Cindy. Because my thing with that is you were the one vote in this huge eviction.
Yep.
You've essentially drawn a line. Best thing you could do right now, stick to your freaking guns, man.
Yeah.
Like, Or just like play it safe. Like don't eliminate someone that you just worked with in this huge vote because you're completely devaluing yourself as an ally to both sides.
Yep.
Just go, if you want to play it safe, just eliminate someone that no one cares about, like Pilar or Kevin or even Willow, you know?
Yeah.
Like, don't. It's very frustrating.
Even Ashley would have been a safe bet. Her man is sitting next to her. Like, her man's out of the competition.
Yeah, like if he doesn't want to take, I think if he doesn't want to take out anyone from the chop shop, I understand that. But if he doesn't, but I don't think he should take out anyone from this new voting block that they just made either.
Yeah.
That's why I'm just like, why not just do Pilar? Who cares? So yeah. I don't know. I want to give him the benefit of the doubt, but I just don't see the strategic value in doing something like that, and I think it's going to hurt him more than help him.
Yeah, but it just shows how much of a hot mess that Bobby is, and even though he made the right call, it was so lucky that like Brittany was there saying the right line that she needed to say.
Yeah,
and he would have definitely voted out Godfrey had like, because he doesn't want any blood on his hands, Jacob. He doesn't want any
blood, Bobby. Yeah, I guess it wouldn't be an episode if Bobby didn't do something stupid. Anyway. But yeah, I am so excited. What a great episode tonight. I cannot wait till Sunday. There's endless possibilities. I'm speechless. I don't know what to say, Keith. I don't know what I can say. Is there anything else that we haven't touched on that you want to throw in?
This was just a fabulous episode. I loved every little bit of it. And I can't wait. I can't wait for Sunday either. It's so good. Even though this show at times seems like it's The Bachelor more than Big Brother, there's some game going on. And I love that it's kind of the showmances versus the like oddball Freaks and Geeks Alliance.
Yeah, versus everyone else.
Yeah.
I completely agree. All right, well, let's go ahead and wrap this up before we go too long. Thank you all for watching so much. You do not want to miss Sunday's episode of Big Brother Canada 3, and you definitely don't want to miss our breakdown of what happened during the episode. Make sure that you follow us on Twitter at Jacob Harple, at Most Humble, at Sarcastivities. We will be live tweeting during every episode. Join us in the conversation. We love hearing from you guys. Also, make sure you subscribe to us on YouTube and like us on Facebook. And more importantly, don't volunteer to go on the block. And stay basic.
Stay basic. Bye.
Bye.